There are a lot of different ways to make money as a content creator, and some of them are more profitable than others.
Some of them are more sketchy than others too.
Today, I'm going to be definitively ranking influencer income streams to help you decide where you should be focusing your time and energy on your quest to monetizing your content. And because you know me, I like to bring receipts to the table, I'm going to be sharing how much money I've personally made off of all of these income streams as we go. Because I want to give you a sense of what the realistic possibilities are for each of them, and to know if it's worth your time. Let's kick this off with probably one of the most famous influencer income streams, and that is Adsense. YouTube Adsense is a program that allows creators to make money off of the ads that play on their videos. The only thing is you do need to have 1,000 subscribers and 4,000 hours of watch time before you're eligible. I'm gonna go ahead and rank Adsense as a pretty decent paycheck right off the bat. You might be wondering, well, Katie, why isn't Adsense like a top tier moneymaker? And I'm gonna tell you why. When we're ranking all of these income streams, we need to consider where they lie on the effort to payoff axis. As with anything, there's going to be a spectrum of how much effort and energy and like hours of work it takes to make money from something, and there's going to be a spectrum of how profitable it is. AdSense is kind of an interesting one because I feel like where it lies on this chart really varies throughout your journey as a YouTuber. When you are first getting started and for example, you're maybe not even monetized yet, trying to make money off of AdSense is extremely high effort and quite low payoff. You're making videos all the time, you're not getting that many views, you might be earning like $5 on a video. However, as time goes on, the payoff increases. Ooh, I realize I have a typo here. Obviously, this is low effort. And I would argue the effort kind of decreases. Basically, the effort that you have to put in order to make money off of AdSense is really no different than the effort you'd be putting in anyway just to make good videos that are going to get lots of views. So it ends up eventually feeling kind of like passive income. However, at the beginning, it is anything but passive, and it feels like you're basically making like pennies off of each video. Where I'm at now with my YouTube channel, I would put AdSense in the like, you know, mid to like high payoff range. And I definitely have to plot it closer to low effort because it's something that just kind of happens because I'm uploading videos anyway. But if I would consider like all of the hours and all of the years that I put in to be able to make the money off of AdSense that I do now, it would definitely have to be on like the higher effort end. So I feel like this all kind of squares out with it landing like maybe about here. And for me personally anyway, AdSense is not like the hugest money maker in the world. Since January, my channel has made just about $32,000 from AdSense. So that's from January until like September. So certainly nothing to sneeze at, but it's not like crazy money. I think a lot of people assume that like as soon as you get monetized on YouTube, you're just like rich, but that's really not the case. It takes many years of posting many videos and building up a back catalog that continues to get views to really make like consistent AdSense payouts. Next on our list is brand deals. I would very much rank brand deals as quite high effort, but for me, they are also very high payoff. If you've watched any of my videos before about my like income streams breakdowns, then you will know that brand deals is far and away my biggest revenue source. Basically, this accounts for like YouTube integrations. If you ever see me say like, thanks to Storyblocks for sponsoring this video. Or I also do like short form integrations, so like Reels or TikToks or Shorts that are sponsored. This year so far, I've made $196,000 from brand deals. So yeah, that is definitely in the high payoff space. However, it is also quite high effort. I manage all of my own brand deals myself. I don't have like a manager or an agency that I work with, which means a lot of my time is actually spent communicating with brands, emailing back and forth, negotiating contracts, reviewing contracts, and managing all of like the production and deadlines of my content. Sponsored content just takes a lot of extra time compared to regular content that you're making because you need to put together a script or an outline, get that approved by the brand, create a draft video, send it over to them, get their feedback, and then make any revisions you need to make. So it's definitely a long and time-consuming process, especially if you aren't outsourcing any of that work to like an agency or a manager. So branded content is probably where a lot of my time gets allotted to, but it's also where most of my revenue comes from. So because of that, I do need to rank brand deals as my ultimate moneymaker because it really is. Okay, next up, affiliate links. Of course, this is the system of like sharing special links that allow you to earn commission off of your audience buying certain products. In the past year, I've made just over $31,000 from affiliate sales. My highest earning affiliate program that I'm a part of is actually Epidemic Sound. That's the platform that I use to get like all of my background music for my YouTube videos. And they have a very generous affiliate program. I believe it's like a 50-50 rev share. Now, in terms of the effort axis here, I would say to get started, there is certainly some effort involved in like organizing yourself around creating all of your affiliate links, signing up for the different programs, and even more than that, thinking strategically about how to incorporate affiliate marketing into your content strategy. Admittedly, this is something I think I could be even better at. Like, for example, with Epidemic Sound, the promotion of that happens quite passively, either through people finding the link in my YouTube description or past sponsorships that I've done with them. I've been able to use my affiliate link there. But like, I could be making Instagram story posts or reels where I reference it, even using like DM automations to send people over to Epidemic Sound. One thing that I did in an effort to increase my affiliate marketing strategy, I created a gear guide, which is like a free download PDF if you want to check it out. I have it linked below. And basically that's like a little like catalog of all of the gear that I use to create my content, with explanations of why I chose this camera or why I like this lens. And then all of the links included in there are affiliate links. So not only is it a valuable little guide to help you figure out what kind of camera gear you might need as a creator, but it helps me earn a little bit of commission if people buy through those links. So I definitely think there's effort involved in thinking through those strategies and coming up with effective ways to share your affiliate links. But sort of like AdSense, it's like once you get that set up, it like slowly becomes more and more low effort because it kind of happens passively. Though I would say for it to be really effective, you want to be like continuously promoting those links, right? So you know what? I'm going to put it just on like upper side of the middle line of effort, because like I really do think I could be doing more than like 30 grand a year in affiliate sales if I was more conscious of like trying to promote my links more often. And in terms of payoff, I'm gonna put it like just to the right of the middle line on the high payoff side. It makes me a similar amount of money that AdSense does actually. So with that being said, I'm gonna rank affiliate marketing as worth the effort. It takes a little bit more extra strategy and planning and work than like AdSense does. AdSense, it's the same effort that you're putting in to making a good YouTube video that will make you more money off of AdSense. So I feel like that's not really extra work. Whereas when it comes to your content planning and strategy, there is extra work involved if you're considering how your affiliate strategy works into that. Next up, we have the TikTok Creator Rewards Program. I'm gonna go ahead and personally rank that as a scam. Okay, now to be serious, the TikTok Rewards Program is a system where creators can get paid for the views they get on TikTok. However, I will caveat that by saying certain creators, because unfortunately the TikTok Creator Rewards Program is still not available in Canada, where I'm from, which means I've personally never earned a penny off of my TikTok views, other than, you know, when I've done brand deals that are syndicated to TikTok. I can earn money on that platform through that way. But yeah, I actually think for creators who live in a country where the TikTok Creator Rewards Program is available to you, I think that's great. It would probably actually rank more so in the pretty decent paycheck to like worth the effort range. But I'm just salty that it's not available to Canadian creators, so that's why I'm ranking it as a scam. The next income stream is memberships. Okay, so this is an interesting one and where we might get a little controversial. Okay, so if you're familiar with my content, then you might know that early last year, I did have a membership briefly. I really want to say, I think that paid memberships, so basically where your audience can pay a subscription to get exclusive content from you as a creator, I think they can be a really great income stream that provides a reliable monthly paycheck. That's the beautiful thing about subscriptions, and allows you to connect more deeply with your audience and provide them extra value. I just think it's a perfect win-win for a creator and their audience. But you'll probably have noticed that I said I used to have a membership. I chose to close it down in like the summer of last year. And honestly, that was because I realized that it was giving me like more anxiety than I was feeling like excited about it. I think this just comes down to personality differences and what you like feel good about offering as a creator. But there was just something about having this group of people that I knew were paying for my content every month and feeling like, okay, I really need to like show up and give them something awesome. And I always have really high expectations for myself, so it would always feel like the ideas or the concepts like weren't good enough. I'm like, no, these are paying people. I need to offer them something amazing. And the obligation of that was just like really stressing me out. Also, I'll just say, I think it takes a lot of time and effort and energy to grow your membership base to the point where you're making a significant monthly paycheck. So just to be totally transparent with you, when I was doing my membership, I was making about $2,000 a month off of that. And what I was offering my members, in addition to full access to my like digital product library included, they also got one exclusive video per month. It was like basically like a YouTube video, but a little bit more behind the scenes kind of vibe. So basically, in terms of my workload, I was making one extra YouTube video per month to share just with members. And at that point in time, my average YouTube integration, I was charging like $3,000 to $4,000 for. So when you think about the math that way, I was like, instead of doing this one video for just my exclusive members, I could make that same video, have it sponsored, and put it on YouTube for everybody to see. So not only would my entire audience get access to it, but I would also make more money from it. That's just my own personal experience. I know that there are a lot of creators that run very profitable and successful memberships, and definitely at the time that was my dream, but I realized that like the style of work required to run a really profitable membership wasn't the kind of work that I really wanted to be doing. What I love doing most is just creating videos for YouTube for everybody to see. And so I kind of shifted my priorities to figure out how can I focus more on doing that instead of trying to like make money in other ways. Hopefully that makes sense. Memberships, I still love you, but it's just not for me, because in my case, I found it to be quite high effort and not super high payoff. But again, this is just my own personal experience. So because of that, I'm gonna rank memberships as skip it. I'm sorry. This is my personal ranking, remember? So let's talk about what I started to focus on more instead of memberships, and that is digital products. Digital products can come in many shapes and sizes. In my case, I sell the Creator Starter Kit, which is basically a suite of Notion templates, Lightroom presets, Canva templates, all the digital assets that I know are helpful for a content creator getting started. But you don't have to be like in the creator tip space to sell a digital product. I've personally bought many like travel guides from my favorite travel creators. Creators can sell like plugins or presets for different editing software. There's many different ways to approach digital products. I feel like I'm telling a similar story again and again, but digital products feels like it starts out quite high effort because you need to develop a valuable product. You need to have a good understanding of who your audience is and what problems they have so you can actually solve that problem for them with something that is a digital download that you can like sell again and again. So there is a lot of effort and energy that goes into developing that idea if you're going to make a good one. However, once you've developed that product, being able to sell it essentially infinitely, the effort really starts to drop. It's similar with AdSense and affiliate marketing. There's that upfront investment, but once you have your system set up, then it's just a matter of consistently marketing it with your content. So speaking of the consistent marketing, I'm going to put this more so in the middle. I'm ranking too many things in the middle of this. But like for me anyway, like I notice my sales fluctuate a lot with my digital product based on when I'm intentionally promoting it with my like Instagram content or my email newsletter. Again, I feel like there's this myth around digital products that it's like completely passive income. And yes, compared to some things, like compared to brand deals, it's a lot more passive than that. But realistically, like it does take some effort to like market the product once it's out there, or else it's just sitting on your website and nobody's buying it. So we'll put it in like the mid effort range. And I think it can be quite like high payoff. Again, it really depends, like it probably, the less effort you put in, the lower payoff, the more effort, the higher payoff. All depends on how much you consciously promote it. Okay, let's talk numbers. So far this year, I have made just under $40,000 from my digital product. And again, this fluctuates so much. When I'm promoting it a lot, I'm making more sales. When I haven't talked about it in months, oh, well, I guess not a lot of people have bought it. Makes sense. I have had better years, that's for sure. Because of that, I'm going to rank digital products as a pretty decent paycheck because I think that your profit with that can scale very quickly if you do invest more effort. Next up is merch or physical products. Okay, so I'll just tell you right off the bat, I'm going to rank merch as a skip it because in all honesty, I have skipped making physical merch. I've never sold like hoodies or notebooks or baseball caps. Really deep down, I just feel like the world doesn't need extra like Gildan t-shirts with like a random phrase printed on it or whatever. I'm not saying that all influencer merch is like that, but just for me personally, like I don't buy a lot of like t-shirts that have like stuff on it. So I don't know if I really feel that passionate about selling that kind of thing. That being said, I do think that like merch can be a really beautiful thing for a creator's community. Like there's something really fun about like say wearing your favorite band's t-shirt and then like you meet somebody else out in public who also loves that band and you can connect over it. I think that's the fun part of it. But yeah, I've just never personally felt that drawn to selling physical merch. Though if you wanted to do it, I think that, where merch falls on this effort to pay off axis really depends on how you approach it. I think for some creators, it can be quite low effort and, the payoff I can't speak to because I've never done it. But if you're working with like print on demand or like some of these other services that essentially you upload your design and they will manage the fulfillment when your audience makes orders, like I don't think that has to take a lot of extra effort. However, if you're wanting to do something more unique and offer a product that that you have more of a hand in developing or creating, and you're potentially even doing the fulfillment yourself, like, then that's going to be very high effort. So I feel like this is kind of a wild card, and it all depends on what type of physical product you're wanting to sell. I don't think that it's necessarily worthwhile pursuing if it's not something you're absolutely obsessed with. So for that reason, I'm gonna say skip it, but to each their own. Next up, we're talking about online courses. This is an interesting one because I feel like online courses really had their heyday in like the mid to late 2010s. Eventually, it kind of feels like the market reached such a saturation, and unfortunately, online courses got kind of a bad reputation. And so I feel like they've kind of gone out of style. However, I do think that depending on your niche and depending on your audience, it can still be a worthwhile way of packaging up valuable information in a way that would be helpful to your audience. Now, personally this year, I have made $0 off of selling a course, but I did have an online course in the past. It was called the Instagram Roadmap, and I decided to retire it a year and a half ago, I want to say. I think that this one kind of went the way of memberships for me a little bit. Again, I felt this very high pressure to provide something super valuable because I'm like, people are paying for this, they're expecting this to be really good. And of course, like before I sold it, I worked for like months on end to create something that I thought would be helpful. That's the thing about courses. If we're talking about the effort to pay off access, once again, at the beginning, it is extremely high effort. In my case, I spent about 8 months developing the course and the content of it. I invested in getting someone else's help with setting up all of the course infrastructure and editing the course videos. So that was a big upfront investment, right? And I think that if you do it the right way and you're trying to produce something of good quality, that is going to be the case. Now, of course, ideally, you sell a lot of it because, again, it's one of these infinitely saleable things. So then ideally it is a high payoff as well. In my case, I'll be honest, it was probably like, you know, a high effort, medium to low payoff, just considering the amount of effort, I guess. The ROI was not huge. And eventually the pressure of like continuing to update it, because it was about Instagram growth and Instagram strategy. So that requires frequent updates, or at least like annual. And so I just felt like the pressure and anxiety of having to maintain this course and keep it super relevant and high value year after year was getting to me. And I didn't want to have to do it anymore. I feel like we're seeing a theme in this video where like the anxiety of pleasing people kind of keeps me from doing some of these things. But you know what? I've been more at peace since I stopped. So for me personally, once again, I'm going to say that a course is a skip, but I think it's a similar case to the membership. If it's something that you would enjoy doing and it's a format that you're excited about, then I think it's definitely, you know, worth the effort or a pretty decent paycheck. Okay, this next one shouldn't take long, but unfortunately, I did feel it necessary to address it. And that is MLMs. Okay, so I think it's probably obvious that I am going to be ranking this as a scam. Unfortunately, this is something that I've come across many times with beginner content creators who are trying to establish income streams for themselves. They come across an opportunity to become a brand ambassador and work for themselves, and it all feels very exciting and like this great way to start being able to monetize your burgeoning audience, because you might feel like, okay, I don't really have enough people to make much off of affiliate marketing. I can't get brand deals yet, but maybe I could sell them shampoo. And I think this comes from a very, you know, innocent and earnest place. However, I just want you to know that any business that like requires you to pay for like a starter package to become a part of it, or that eventually encourages you to focus more on recruiting other salespeople than actually selling the product, you should be suspicious of that. And like, it honestly makes me like really sad that this is something that often targets aspiring, especially female content creators who are trying to like start a side hustle or like make money in addition to being a stay-at-home mom or whatever. Those kind of people are often the targets, and that makes me upset because I would rather you focus on growing your own creator business and doing some of these other income streams rather than getting caught up in like selling supplements or essential oils or whatever. Girl, if you're gonna sell oils, make them your own, okay? Don't sell somebody Maybe we just don't need to sell oils. Next up, an option that people don't often think of is services. So that could be social media management, graphic design. In other niches, it could even be stuff like planning a trip itinerary for someone, doing a personal style consultation, creating a meal plan. Those are all examples of things you could do in other niches that don't actually require you to like go in person and meet with someone. In my personal case, this was a big focus of my income generating efforts over the years. So if you didn't know, I started out my career as a freelance videographer. I used to shoot weddings, real estate tour videos, make promotional videos for local businesses, businesses. That's how I started making money, when I was just a little YouTuber dreaming of one day getting a brand deal. But long before I was able to do that, I could use the skills that I had gained from being a YouTuber and turn that into making video content for others. And I've always loved making videos. As time has gone on, this has evolved into me now having a small boutique video editing agency called Creatorly Media. So we edit long form YouTube videos for YouTubers, of course. Okay, now I will say that services are quite high effort. Like, we are putting it up there. This is just the case of anything where you are trading time for money. And look, I know a lot of the like money making gurus on YouTube love to be like, stop trading time for money. You need to do something that's passive, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, I think it's great to have income streams that feel more passive, like affiliate marketing, Adsense. But I think there's still room in this world to just like do services for people. Sometimes that's just the best way to deliver something, like video editing, for example. So yes, it's very high effort, but I think that it's a worthwhile thing to provide. I'm like super proud of the work that my team of editors does. It's high effort. It has the potential to be high payoff as well. There's been times for me in the past where services were a very high payoff thing. For example, in the past year or so, we've brought in like in the realm of like $100,000 in revenue since January. Now, I'll be totally transparent with you and say like revenue doesn't equal profit, right? Because in the case of services, in the way that I do it, I'm paying other people to edit the videos. I'm even paying Shelby, who's our operations manager, to do all of like the client communication and admin and stuff like that. So for me personally, at the moment, our services are on the low payoff end, but you know, payoff for the people working for me, which is good. We made a big pivot at Creatorly about a year ago. We used to offer a whole range of services, but honestly, it just became too overwhelming to keep up that many different systems that were so customized per client. So we did a huge restructuring and changed to offering just YouTube editing, where before we did like podcast, TikTok, Instagram management, all of this stuff. So since then, it's been a journey to build back up our client base. And that just takes time when you like make a huge shift in a business. But I'm happy to report that just in the past couple of months, Creatorly is once again officially profitable, which I'm so proud of. Again, it would have been profitable all along if I was like actually managing it myself, but I'm very happy to outsource that. I just like to be honest with you guys about like where different things in my business are at, and I'm very glad that we made this big pivot at Creatorly. Like, I'm very happy with how things are functioning now. Like, everything runs so smoothly and the clients are very happy. But yeah, it can take time after you make a big shift in a business for things to become profitable. That's just the reality of it, and I'm really happy that we're getting to that point now. So because of this, I am going to rank services at a solid, pretty decent paycheck, but I am hopeful that within the next year, my services will become a moneymaker, official moneymaker once again. Okay, our final income stream to rank is group trips. This one has become so popular lately. You've probably seen some of your favorite creators planning trips that you can come along for. I want to tell you a little bit of a story, and like maybe I'm tipping my hand a little bit too much, but we're, you know, in the mood for honesty. So about a year and a half ago, this company Trova Trip reached out to me about hosting a group trip, which I was really excited about because I still think that would be like a fun thing to do at some point. But basically throughout the process, I eventually realized that the type of trip that I would want to run wasn't really gonna make me any money. So let me give you some context. Basically, the way that Trova Trip works, and I imagine some of these other companies too, as a creator, you can select an itinerary from their list and you get to decide where you want to like cap the registration at. So like how many people you want to join your trip. Each of these itineraries has a base price, right? So let's just say you want to go to like Greece for a week with your group. The base price, let's say, is like $2,000 a person. That's what you're required to charge just to be able to make sure all the vendors get paid in the hotels and restaurants and stuff. Okay, so beyond that, as the creator, you can not only decide how many people you want to come on your trip, but also how much you're going to charge them. Personally, I had decided I wanted to keep the group pretty small because the idea of having a group trip of like 30 people felt very overwhelming to me. So I was like, let's just do the minimum, which was like 16 people. I was like, I don't want to have more than 16. That feels like a good size of group where we can all get to know each other. And then beyond that, you could also change how much you wanted to charge. So like, let's say the base price was $2,000, you could like crank it up to like $3,000, and then that extra grand, you would basically earn that as the creator per person that came on the trip. So that's where you get a lot of like earning potential as a creator, is basically increasing what you want that trip price point to be. The reason why I ended up not moving forward with it, A, I was a little bit intimidated by the whole thing generally, but B, I wasn't comfortable with increasing the price to a point where I felt like I would be earning enough money to make the effort that I was putting into the trip worthwhile. Because I really sat with it and I thought to myself, like, would I personally want to pay $3,000 for like a 7-day group trip to like Greece? I was like, no,
I don't think I would.
And I didn't feel right about trying to promote that if I felt like I wouldn't be willing to pay for it myself. And so if I set the price to what I felt comfortable with and the group size to a number I felt comfortable with, the math worked out so that I would basically just have enough profit to like cover my own flight because my flight wasn't going to be paid for. So essentially I would have broken even to do it. I'm sure there are lots of other approaches and ways of going about it that it can be more profitable for creators, but yeah, I just wasn't ready to dive in and do that for a break-even scenario. We'll see. Someday I would love to like host a meetup or a retreat or like some kind of an event because I do think that in-person stuff is like, it's just unmatched. In this specific case, I was like, I don't know if it's the right way to go about it. So for me personally, I have to rank group trips as a skip it. Also, I hope that Trova Trip doesn't hate me for saying all of this. Know that if you ever see me working with them in the future, it's probably because, you know, the math started mathing, but I just like to be honest with y'all. All right, so there we have it. My final official ranking of influencer income streams. Hopefully this has given you a bit of a guide of where you might like to get started as you're building out your own creator business. Obviously, this was very subjective. Just because I skipped something doesn't mean it might not be right for you. Over the years, I have tried out many of these income streams, and that's how I was able to learn what feels good for me, what feels like the right amount of effort, and what type of work is actually fun and exciting for me. And that's the beautiful thing about being a content creator is you can really customize your own business model to be something that you enjoy doing. And I love that. If you want to see more money related videos from me, I did this video about how I have officially made $1 million as a content creator. That still doesn't feel real to me, but if you want to know more about that, you can check out this video next. As always, I hope you're having adventures and following your dreams, and I'll catch you in the next video. Bye!